So the range where I usually go to was crowded today. What do you know? It's a Sunday. So I had to drive way out into the mountains, and this place is absolutely beautiful. Not complaining at all. We're going to put another 100 rounds through the Springfield Prodigy today and try to answer some questions. Do you really need to change out all the internals for EGW ignition kit, change out your trigger, springs, all those things? Or is it pretty good to go in its stock configuration? Let's find out. Welcome back to Sawtooth Tactical, your choice for Second Amendment news, gun reviews, and more. Today we're once again talking about the Springfield Armory Prodigy, specifically my 4 1/4 inch Prodigy. And a question, when I was first looking into getting this pistol, there were a lot of bad reviews out there. It seemed that the first batch of these that came out had a lot of problems, and most people were either sending their firearms back to Springfield to get those problems fixed, which they were getting fixed on Springfield's dime, not the customers, as it should be, or they were sending them off to like third-party businesses that were doing lots of internal work on them, specifically, polishing the feed ramp and the chamber and installing like EGW kits and among other things, different springs, all of that kind of stuff. And a lot of people decided that it was still worth it, that it still made sense to get a 2011 around $1,500 rather than $2,500, put $500 worth of work into it, and have a really good gun for about $2,000. Well, I waited, like I've told you guys in the past, to get my Prodigy until I thought that those issues had been worked out by Springfield. And today I want to talk about, does it make sense to get one of these and run it with the stock parts, or do you need to send it off and get everything changed out and fixed? Make sure you subscribed, and we're going to talk about that today. So just backed up a little. I want to check this zero on my red dot because my plate did come loose and I had to fix that. So I'm hoping I'm still zeroed. We'll see. See how it goes. Not bad, not bad. So with my Prodigy, I kind of wanted to perform an experiment. And that experiment was, I wanted to, again, like I said, wait to get it until I thought that Springfield worked out the initial kinks, which I did, and then see how it ran in its stock configuration for 1,000 rounds, bring you guys a 1,000 round review on the stock Springfield Prodigy. And yes, I've added a light and a red dot, but nothing internal has been changed. So in that way, it is a stock gun. Now, if you guys know, if you follow my channel, I am all about modifying things, changing out internal parts, triggers, upgrading, customizing. That's one of the things about firearms that I really enjoy. And so I kind of already had planned to do that with this Prodigy, but I wanted to see how it ran for the first 1,000 rounds first, completely stock, and see if I liked it that way. We're at about 35 yards here. I was hoping to try to shoot this out a little farther today, but like I said, the range was full, and this is about as far back as I can get where I am out here in the mountains. See if this red dot's on point or not. Not bad. So I've been running my Prodigy with Springfield Prodigy mags, not staccato mags or anything second, third party, whatever. These are Springfield mags. I've got a couple of 20 rounds and a 17 round magazine, and they ran flawless. I haven't changed any springs. I haven't done anything to it. In fact, even the trigger, which if you guys know me, I upgrade triggers in every single one of my firearms because I love a good trigger. But you guys also know how much I love 1911s, and one of my favorite things about the 1911 is that crisp single action trigger. And the trigger on this Prodigy from the factory is better than any of the upgraded aftermarket triggers that I've put in my polymer guns. It already is a fantastic trigger. It pulls at between 3.8 and 4 pounds, and I'll show you that with the trigger pull gauge in a minute. So I've actually been very, very happy with it so far in its completely stock configuration. I was a little concerned that I was going to spend $1,500, $2,000 with the light and the optic on a pistol just to feel like I had to send it off and have somebody fix everything on it. And so far, that has not been my experience. Let's try the smaller target. When I slow down and pay attention, I'm pretty good. When I get a little ahead of myself, it's when I miss. So let's take a look at this Prodigy a little bit closer up here. Again, stock Springfield mags. I keep one of the 20 rounders loaded up with a Spear Gold Dot G2. This ammo seems to run great in this for a defensive round. And I want to tell you guys about the only two little bit of issues that I've had with this gun. So again, all stock parts, and yes, I know MIM parts, metal injection molded, although most of your other pistols, like your polymers, striker-fired guns, have MIM parts in them, and it's not an issue. They might not last quite as long as machine billet parts, but so far through 900 rounds, they've been just fine. Now, the two issues that I've had are this. My safety here is ambidextrous, and what happens is that this right side of it seems to walk out a little bit over time, and I kind of have to squeeze it back together, or else it's hard to actuate the right side safety. But I don't shoot left-handed all that often, even though I actually am left-handed. And the left side safety, the one that I actually use, has never been a problem. And all I got to do is squeeze that a little bit to get it to go back together. But that is just one of the little issues I've had. The other issue, and this really has nothing to do with the internal parts of the gun, is the optic plate here. This optic plate has come loose twice now. And the second time, I had used blue Loctite in it, and it still came loose again after a bunch of rounds. Well, I'll admit that what I used to put it on was this little wrench that you get from Holosun to install your optic. And I just hand tightened it basically as hard as I could each time. And I thought the second time, once I used Loctite, it would fix the problem, but it did not. So what did I do? I actually went out and got a Vortex torque wrench, did it the right way, because apparently you can over tighten it, and that can be as much of a problem as not tightening it enough. So 2 days ago, I took the optic off, I took the plate off, I cleaned everything, cleaned out all the screw holes, reinstalled the plate with Loctite again, did it to 24 pounds because they say not to tighten over 25 pounds. So I went 1 pound under. I tightened it to 24 pounds, and then I mounted the optic and torqued those to 15 pounds, which is what Holosun says to torque your optic screws to. So now everything is torqued to spec, the way it should have been from the beginning. You know, it cost $100 to get this torque wrench, but I need one anyway. I'm constantly building and modifying guns, so it was something that I had to get anyway. But those are the only two issues I've had. Have been this little, ambi safety slightly walking out after lots of rounds and lots of on and off with the safety. And all I gotta do is push it back in and it's good again for a long time. And then this optics plate loosening up, but hopefully now that everything is torqued to spec, that won't be an issue anymore. Now I do want to show you guys what this trigger pulls at, and it's completely stock configuration from Springfield. So, see if we can do this on camera here. It says 4.4, which is higher actually than what I normally always get, but it's a little bit harder to do this behind a camera. 4.2. 4.2. So a little bit over 4 pounds. Funny thing is, I was doing this last night and I was getting 3.8 and 4.0 consistently, but that's how it is when you film. Anyway, that's not a bad trigger. And if you look at it, if you're a little bit of take up, just like any 1911, very crisp brake, zero over travel. Your reset puts you right back to the wall. It's a very shootable trigger. You can go very fast with it. And you can also, shoot it out to fairly decent distances for a pistol and be very accurate. I don't pull my shots with this hardly at all unless I'm really not paying attention. So we're a little closer up, running stock, factory mags, factory everything. The only changes I've made have been adding the light and the red dot. Let's see if we can go a little faster since we're closer up. Gotta love this pistol. If you've always wanted a 2011, but didn't quite have 3 or 4 or 5 grand to spend on one, and you're not sure about the Prodigy because of what you may have seen online in YouTube videos, I am here to hopefully, calm those feelings, because I felt the same way. I always wanted a 2011, and when the Prodigy came out, I was very excited that there was finally a production double stack 9mm 1911 that was at a price point that was achievable for the average gun owner. And I've been extremely happy with it. Extremely happy with it. This is my favorite pistol to shoot at this point. And in fact, all my other ones seem to be collecting dust a little bit these days, unfortunately. But it's gotten me very excited about this style of pistol. And although I don't think that you need to change any of the parts out if you get a stock Prodigy, if you've never had a 2011, this gun, bone stock, is going to make you very happy. It's going to have a better trigger than any of your striker fired guns. It's going to have less recoil. It's going to come back on target quicker. You're going to be able to shoot it faster. You're going to be able to shoot it more accurately at greater distances. It's just a fantastic gun all around. And I think you get a lot of gun for the money. It's a really, really good value. I've been very, very happy with mine. Now, having said that, after the 1,000 round review, which I believe will be coming next week, I've put 900 rounds through this so far. So I'm going to put another 100 rounds through it. Just make sure nothing weird happens in that last 100 rounds. But so far, it's literally ran perfectly through the first 900 rounds. After I put 1,000 rounds through it, and I can bring you guys a review giving you exactly what has happened. It's going to be a full review of exactly how it's gone from start to finish the first 1,000 rounds. Well, just because I am me, maybe at that point I will send it off, maybe Skip's Guns. I'm not sure I'm going to get it like ported or comped, although I think that would be really cool. It already shoots very flat and very quickly for me, but might get the trigger worked on, maybe put an Atlas medium trigger in here. You know me, I love straight triggers. Probably get the internals polished, just see what kind of a difference that makes. Maybe I'll get the EGW ignition kit, because if this gun is as good as it is right now, and I love it the way it is, well, for a few $100 more, which is not much considering what I've spent on other pistols that are not as good, to make it into something that's absolutely incredible, well, that might be worth it. Up close is just too easy, so I had to back it up again a little bit. This pistol has been running great. This makes 900 rounds through it. And I think next week, I'll do the 1,000 round review. Another 100 rounds, ran perfect. Let me know in the comments what kind of experience you have had with the Springfield Prodigy, because I would love to know, good or bad, what kinds of things other people have been going through, or if theirs has ran perfectly just like mine has. And if you have done some of those upgrades, let me know if you feel like those are worth it. And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to Sawtooth Tactical. Please like and share this video. And from Sawtooth Tactical, stay strapped or get clapped.